Shalom, shalom. YAHAWASHI. I want to do a quick hit going into the spirit of prophecy. First and foremost, I want to give all glory, honor, praises unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great mystery, and teach me well. Peace and salutations be to hopeful elect. I'm Brother Tazim Gabar coming at you from the Prophets in Babylon camp here in Tampa, Florida. And we're going to get right into it with the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 4. He that speaketh in an unknown tongue edifieth himself, but he that prophesieth edifieth the church. So it's okay. It's good that you can speak. You know, you may be able to speak Hebrew, or you may be able to speak in Spanish, or you may be able to speak other languages, knowing that Hebrew is the original language. Brothers can be speaking Hebrew, which that's good, because, you know, the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated to a different language have not the same force in them, man. You know, so these other languages aren't as powerful as the Hebrew tongue. So he that speaketh in an unknown tongue edifieth himself. So you edifying yourself and those that understand. But the goal is to wake up the elect, you know, through the spirit of prophecy. It says, but he that prophesieth edifieth the church. And when you prophesy, I mean, you got to speak something that they understand. You know, we can't just be out there speaking deep, dark parables that Jake can't get, because you're trying to wake up the elect. So you have to prophesy in ways that they can understand. You know, break the scriptures down, simplify it for them. You know, that's the job right now. All right. It says, I would that ye all spake with tongues. It says, but rather that ye prophesied, for greater is he that prophesieth than he that speaketh with tongues. All right, because you warning the people, you telling people what's to come, you know. And when you give them that fervent warning, there's no blood in your hands, you know. You can sit out there and speak in the Hebrew all day. You've only edified yourself, you know. Which when we open up, we speak in Hebrew, of course. But this is going into teaching Jake. You know, you don't want to be teaching Jake and things that they don't understand. You out there speaking Hebrew the whole time, talking to a Jake. Like, you gonna get it. Jake speaks English. Where we at right now, Jake's speaking English. That means you gotta come in the form of speaking English. Prophesying in English, man. What Paul say, he said, to the Jews I became Jews, Gentiles became Gentiles, to the poor I became poor, whatever it may be, man. You got to adapt, you know, that I may win them. Scripture talks about, or Paul say, well, I have gotten them with guile, meaning what? Through craftiness. You know, you may appear to be this certain guy, but you're really not. You're really that type of guy, or you're really this type of guy. Or like what? You trying to prophesy to a homeless dude, you appear to be homeless. You know, all these things are important, because the prophecy must go out. This word shall be preached to the four corners of the earth as a witness unto them, and then shall the end come. But if it's in a different language and they can't translate it, how can they know? How can they say in that day, Lord, I didn't hear, you know? Or exactly, man, because they can't tell the Lord, you know. Well, the Lord won't be able to say unto them, you know, the word was preached to you because it was in a different language. They couldn't understand it. The Lord has to give them no excuse. And that's what it's going to be. They're going to have no excuse in that day, because the Lord came to them in their tongues, and things that they could understand, and spread the truth to them, and they still ain't want to get it. It says, for greater is he that prophesieth than he that speaketh with tongues, except he interpret, that the church may receive edifying. So unless you're out there interpreting what you're saying, like we say, YAHAWASHI, all praise to the Most High in the name of the Son, you know. That's interpreting what I just said. You got to interpret what you're saying, man. You pray for a brother, pray for a man in the Hebrew, you know, interpret what you're saying to him so that he knows what you're praying for. When y'all praying together in the Hebrew, make sure you interpret so that they know what they just prayed, you know. just repeating the words you're saying, but can't even be sincere with it because he doesn't know what the words are. You know. So coming in the same tongue is important. All right. I got this scripture. Probably close out with this. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahawashi. Worship Yahawashi, for the testimony of Yahawashi is the spirit of prophecy. So we got to be in the spirit of prophesying. You know, that's our testimonies. You know, if we got no witnesses, how are you out there prophesying if you got no witnesses? You know, scripture talks about prophesying into the wind. You know, well, guess what? Even though you're prophesying into the wind, it's still fruitful. Why? Because because the Lord and the angels hear it, man. You know, brothers may be out there putting lessons up and got no subscribers, and to him it feels like he's prophesying to the wind. But that's still a workup. You know, that's still a work. You know, later on, the Lord increases that fruit. He increases that fruit, man. He increases that seed that you planted, and it starts bearing fruit. Before you know it, it's got hundreds of views months later. You know, and you wouldn't even know it. But the word went out. You know, but before the word can go out, you have to be able to bring it out into a form where people can understand. If people cannot understand it, they're not getting edified. That's just that, man. You know. With that, I'm going to give all glory, honor, praises unto Yahawashi. I truly hope this quick, it was edifying. So next time, that's what I do say, shalom. On to the next one.